Emily was only 27 when the world seemed to collapse around her. She had just started her career as a teacher, pouring her energy into her students, believing the future stretched wide and bright ahead of her. Then came the diagnosis, a rare blood disorder, the kind of words that make your body feel heavy, as if the air itself is pressing down. The doctors spoke in calm tones, but the meaning behind their words carved through her like cold steel. Without a bone marrow transplant, time was slipping away. Her family tried to be strong for her. Her mother held her hand through the nights when the fear felt unbearable. Her father whispered quiet prayers in the corner, and her older brother Daniel never stopped reminding her that miracles could come from strangers. But Emily could not escape the weight pressing on her chest. She looked at herself in the mirror one evening, pale and tired, her body already showing signs of the battle inside. She wondered if she would ever see herself as whole again. The hospital became her second home. The sterile walls, the sound of machines, the constant flow of nurses, these became her reality. She felt herself fading not only physically but emotionally, her once bright spirit clouded by a relentless question, why me? The days blurred into one another, and Emily found herself staring at the ceiling more often than not, feeling like a burden to those who loved her most. Daniel sat with her one evening, watching the sunset through the hospital window. The sky turned golden, casting warmth into the sterile room. He told her gently, "You don't know who's out there, Emily. Someone might be walking right now, unaware that they're about to save your life." His words hung in the air, fragile yet filled with a kind of hope she hadn't dared to touch. She wanted to believe him, but hope was dangerous when disappointment felt closer than salvation. Nights were the hardest. The silence pressed in, and the beeping of machines felt like a countdown. Emily often cried quietly so no one would hear, clutching her pillow like a shield against the fear of leaving everything unfinished, her students, her dreams, the family who loved her. She thought of the life she might not get to live, and it felt like standing in the shadow of something too large to escape. Yet even in those dark hours, a small flicker refused to die. Perhaps it was Daniel's voice, or the prayers whispered by her father, or the soft touch of her mother's hand. Perhaps it was something deeper, buried within her, that still longed for a chance. Emily didn't know then, but that fragile thread of hope would one day be the bridge leading her to the stranger who would change everything. The days stretched endlessly, each one a quiet battle against despair. Emily's body grew weaker as she waited, her veins carrying medicine but her heart heavy with uncertainty. Every test, every needle prick, every careful explanation from doctors all circled back to the same truth. Without a bone marrow donor, there was no way forward. She learned to read her family's eyes, even when they smiled, noticing the way their hope sometimes trembled. The waiting list was a strange kind of limbo. Somewhere out there, someone might carry the match that could save her life. But there were no guarantees. Emily would lie awake imagining faces she would never see, people walking through their lives unaware that their blood held the answer to her survival. The thought was both comforting and cruel, like standing outside a locked door and hearing laughter within. Time in the hospital carved new rhythms. Nurses became companions. The quiet hum of machines, her constant background. She kept a journal, at first filled with scattered thoughts, but slowly it became a place where she poured her fears and her prayers. She wrote about the students she longed to see again, about the seasons passing beyond her window, about the life she dreamed of having if only she was given another chance. Then, one morning, the world shifted. Her doctor walked into the room, his face carrying something she hadn't seen in months, a spark. He told her they had found a donor, a complete stranger. Someone halfway across the country had come forward, willing to give a piece of themselves to save her. The words landed like sunlight after a storm, and Emily felt her chest tighten as tears welled in her eyes. For a moment, she couldn't breathe, as if her body had forgotten how to hold such hope. Her family cried with her, relief washing over them like a tide breaking against the rocks. Daniel gripped her hand, whispering, "See, I told you, strangers can bring miracles." Emily nodded through her tears, overwhelmed by the idea that someone she had never met, someone who owed her nothing, had chosen to step into her story. But with the hope came fear. Transplants were never simple. The procedure was dangerous, the recovery uncertain. Emily lay awake the night before the surgery, her heart racing as she thought of the stranger somewhere else, preparing for the same day. She whispered silent thanks into the darkness, unsure if that person would ever hear them. As the hospital lights dimmed, she realized something had shifted inside her. She was no longer just waiting for life to happen to her, she was walking toward it. And though she didn't know the stranger's name, she knew that their kindness had already begun to change her, even before the transplant had taken place. The morning of the transplant arrived quietly, yet the weight of it filled every corner of Emily's heart. The hospital room seemed brighter than usual, the sterile white walls no longer only a reminder of sickness, but of the possibility of life. Nurses moved with gentle urgency, preparing her for the procedure, while her family stood close, their eyes carrying both fear and fragile hope. Emily lay on the bed, her body trembling, not from weakness alone but from the enormity of what was about to happen. She thought of the stranger. Somewhere, a person she had never met had given their marrow, enduring pain and discomfort, to offer her the chance to live. It was an act of selflessness she could barely comprehend. As she closed her eyes before the anesthesia took her under, Emily whispered a silent prayer of gratitude, sending it out into the unknown, like a letter carried by the wind. The hours that followed blurred into a haze of recovery. Her body battled fevers and pain, the storm of her immune system clashing with the new cells. There were nights when she felt too weak to continue, when she doubted her strength to endure. Yet each time she looked at her family's faces, she remembered that she was no longer alone. A stranger's kindness now flowed within her veins, a reminder that life itself had chosen her again. Weeks passed, and slowly, Emily's body began to accept the gift. Color returned to her cheeks, strength to her steps. The first time she walked outside the hospital after her recovery, the sunlight felt different on her skin, warmer, more precious. Every sound, every breath, every ordinary detail of life shimmered with meaning. She no longer took them for granted, because each one was proof of a second chance. Emily never met the donor face to face. The rules kept their identities apart, though letters were exchanged. She wrote to them with trembling hands, pouring her heart into words, thanking them for a life that was no longer slipping away but stretching wide with possibility. She told them of her students waiting for her return, of the sunsets she now cherished, of the hope that had been reborn inside her. She returned to teaching with a new sense of purpose. Her students noticed her softer smile, the way she paused to remind them that kindness mattered, that the smallest act could ripple in ways they might never see. Emily lived each day as a testament to the stranger's gift, her life itself a quiet echo of their sacrifice. The transplant had given her more than survival. It had given her a new way to see the world, a deeper faith in the goodness of humanity, and the unshakable truth that even in the darkest moments, a stranger's kindness can change everything. Emily's story reminds us that we are all connected in ways we may never realize. A single act of compassion can ripple into a lifetime, changing not only the one who receives, but also the world around them. Perhaps we may never be asked to give something as profound as bone marrow, but each of us has the power to offer kindness, hope, and love to those who need it most. And in doing so, we too become part of a stranger's miracle. If this story touched you, please like, share, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more heartfelt stories.